भगवते वासुदेवाय। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome, dear devotees. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 2. We have started chapter number 8 yesterday, Questions by King Parikshit. And today we are starting from text number 7. Who is reading number 7?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.8.7 Yad adhato mato brahman deharambhosya dhatubhi yadrachya hetuna bhav yadrachya hetuna bhav hetunava bhavanto janate yatha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this, for it is known to you? Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So here we see how Parikshit Maharaj is asking further questions. And that's what the title of this chapter is, Questions by King Parikshit. So he's asking, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquires the body accidentally or by some cause? Here, very important thing to highlight or to understand is Parikshit Maharaj just heard everything, whatever was spoken by Brahmaji to Narad Muni. All this creation, creator, all the incarnations, appearance, and the details, how the Lord creates this material universe, how He Himself, Lord, enters, and how the jivas are impregnated into the material creation, along with that karma or the conditioned living entities, how all this Parikshit Maharaj heard everything. But now he is asking further questions, even after hearing what Brahmaji said to Narad Muni. What the last line of this translation is, he is asking, will you kindly explain this, for it is known to you? So he want to hear from him, Sukdev Goswami. Here we see the the faith of Parikshit Maharaj on Sukdev Goswami, on his teacher, that is being highlighted. How he has full faith, he is fully surrendered. If you remember, dear devotees, when we came into this pastime, end of Canto 1 or beginning of the Canto 2 as well, we saw that how there were hundreds and thousands of sages assembled at the bank of the river Ganges. When Parikshit Maharaj made this decision to fast till death, the sages from all around the world, they all assembled there. And here, Sukdev Goswami is a 16-year-old boy. We see how he came, he arrived in the assembly. But in the same assembly, there is Narada, Vyasa, Atri Muni. There are so many great acharyas or great rishis or elevated devotees are also uh, assembled in that same place. But here we see that how Parikshit Maharaj is asking, again and again to Sukdev Goswami, and he wants to know, even though he heard the same thing from Brahmaji, he wants to know from him. He's saying, as it is known to you. So it is highlighting the uh, faith of Parikshit Maharaj towards Sukdev Goswami. And that faith is very essential to progress in bhakti. Faith in the scriptures, faith in the Guru, words of the Guru is very essential. We see how Srila Prabhupada also had the full faith in the instructions of his Guru. And that's why he took this step. What was required to go to the Western world, English speaking countries at this old age? He said, my Guru has said, this is the instructions of his Guru. So even like he got the instruction in 1922 or 1932, but it was 1965, about 30 to 40 years of his life he was thinking or preparing for this. And when the opportunity came, he took up that instructions and acted accordingly. And that shows that Prabhupada's faith towards his Guru's words. And here also, same thing, Parikshit Maharaj's faith on this Sukdev Goswami. It is said, when the disciple has a faith in Guru, and the Guru is qualified. See what is happening here, dear devotees. Guru Sukdev Goswami is a qualified, bona fide person, and Parikshit Maharaj is a king who has faith in the Guru. And what happened when there was a faith in the disciple and the bona fide or a qualified Guru? They both were present. What happened? Bhagavatam was spoken, and Bhagavatam is sound incarnation of the Lord. So Lord in the sound incarnation or a book form, Lord appeared when there was a faith in the disciple and when there was a bona fide Guru is available. So in the same way in our life also, भगवान के दर्शन कब होते हैं, भगवान की प्राप्ति कैसे होगी? जब शिष्य में गुरु के प्रति श्रद्धा होगी और Guru who is a bona fide and authorized person. Prabhupada explains in the purport कि कोई भी ऐसा कैसा कोई भी बंदा गुरु नहीं बन सकता as long as he is, जैसे अभी एक सारे तत्वों के बारे में अभी हम देखेंगे, बहुत सारे प्रश्न परीक्षित महाराज पूछ रहे हैं, that is more towards the tattva aspects, not only leela but tattva, and we see understand from this chapter also that tattva aspect of the knowledge about the supreme lord is equally important, and the guru who is able to convince, who knows, who can explain to others and who can convince the disciples, that a person can only become guru. So Prabhupada is explaining all this, who can be a bona fide guru, what are the qualities of a disciple, who need to have a faith in the guru. हमारा सबसे प्रॉब्लम बड़ा वही है कि फेथ नहीं होते, शास्त्र इतना पढ़ते हैं, भगवान की शरण में जाना है, ये सब हम बहुत बार पढ़ते हैं, लेकिन फेथ नहीं है कि सिर्फ चैंटिंग करने से, अच्छे से माला करने से या सेवा करने से भगवान की प्राप्ति हो सकती है. वी हैव हर्ड दिस मैनी मैनी टाइम्स, बट दैट ठीक है, थोड़ा बहुत श्रद्धा है, फेथ है, maybe little bit initially it's called a कोमल श्रद्धा और a tender faith, but जैसे ही हम भक्ति में ऐसे शास्त्र पढ़ते रहेंगे, भक्तों का संग करते रहेंगे, then slowly that faith will become, that कोमल श्रद्धा will become दृढ़ श्रद्धा, that faith will increase, and that faith is the only thing required for Lord to appear in the heart of the devotee. And here we see that Parikshit Maharaj wants to know. So it's not about the seniority as well. ये नारद मुनि है, व्यास देव है, लेकिन डिपेंडिंग ऑन द नीड ऑफ द डिसाइपल. जैसे यहाँ पे परीक्षित महाराज को सुखदेव गोस्वामी से ही सुनना था. व्हाई? बिकॉज इट वाज हिज क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज द ड्यूटी ऑफ ए डाइंग मैन. वी सी व्हाट इज द ड्यूटी ऑफ एवरीवन इन जनरल, especially the one who is about to die, and that one, he surrendered to Guru, and Guru imparted the knowledge, and we see the success of Parikshit Maharaj. So from this verse we understand the importance of faith, faith in scriptures, faith in the words of Guru, and faith in the process of this devotional service. If a devotee has this faith, the strong faith, that is equivalent, जितना ज्यादा श्रद्धा होगा उतना ज्यादा भक्ति में आगे बढ़ेंगे. ठीक है? Let's do text number 8. 8 and 9 we can do together.
Sure. Hare Krishna, everyone. Canto 2, Chapter 8, Text 8. Asidyat udarat padmam loka shamstana lakshanam yavan ayam vai purusha yatta vaya vai pratak tavan asav iti prokta samstavaya vavan eva. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of common living entities? Hare Krishna.
Thank you. And 9 together as well. So this is talking about Brahmaji as well.
Text 9. Ajha sarjati bhutani bhutatma yad anugrahat dadrasayena tatrupam nabhabi padma sumatbhava. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ji. Brahma, who was not born of a material source but of the lotus flower, coming out of the navel abdomen of the Lord, is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Text 9 mein the first word is used is aja. Aja, ja means, we have discussed this before. Ja means janma. Aja means the Ajanma. Ajanma means just the one who is not born of a material source. And who is that? Is Brahma. That's why it is Brahma is also known as Aja, कि जिसका जन्म कोई material source से नहीं हुआ. He was born from the lotus flower or the stem from the navel of the Lord. So that is what the translation says. Brahma, who was not born of a material source. If you see text number 9, Brahma, who was not born of a material source, but of the lotus flower coming out of the navel abdomen of the Lord. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? In text number 8 and 9, see, Parikshit Maharaj heard that Lord has a body. If you see the 8, it is said, um, Lord had different bodies. We have seen that Bhagwan, Lord came as Karanodakshai Vishnu, as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Karanodakshai Vishnu, he is lying and the universe is coming out from his skin pores. Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he enters into the Garbhodaksha or that Brahmanda, and then from his navel, Lord Brahmaji comes, appears from the navel, then the stem, then the lotus flower, and Brahmaji appears. So all this, Parikshit Maharaj also heard what we have heard, that Lord has a gigantic body. I imagine Lord's bodily size, कि universes are coming out from the skin pores. And then Brahmaji is coming out from the nebel, from the stem and the lotus. So just imagine the size of that Karanodakshai Vishnu or Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So when Parikshit Maharaj heard this, that Lord also has body, and he heard that living entities also have a body. So he is asking here that is there any difference between Lord's body and the living entity's body? And if there is any difference, what is that difference? See, if you see text number 8 translation, it is said that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem is sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body, according to the purpose, to his own caliber and measurement. Then, if you see the translation, it says, what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of the common living entities? जब परीक्षित महाराज ने सुना Lord also has the body, the living entities also has the body, then what is the difference? We have to understand from this verse that Lord takes the form or Lord takes the body according to the need, because previous chapter का टाइटल था स्पेसिफिक इंकारनेशंस ऑफ लॉर्ड फॉर स्पेसिफिक फंक्शंस. तो जो टाइम पे जो पास टाइम के लिए जैसा बॉडी का रिक्वायरमेंट है, बड़ा चाहिए तो बड़ा, छोटा चाहिए तो छोटा, लॉर्ड टेक्स दैट बॉडी, दैट फॉर्म, दैट साइज. एंड हियर Parikshit Maharaj is asking if the living entity also has a body, Bhagwan का भी body है, what is the difference into that? So in text number 9 also it is said, Brahma, jo, he's mentioned as Aja. So he's saying one who is not born of this material source. So Brahma has seen that body of Lord Vishnu, because Brahma, he saw body of that Lord Vishnu. And text 9 में बता दे, Brahma's body and Vishnu's body, are they of same type or different type? So this is what Parikshit Maharaj wanted to hear clearly. He wanted to get more detailed answers from Sukdev Goswami, and that's why he is asking कि भगवान के बॉडी में हम के बारे में हमने चर्चा किया, इतना जाइगेंटिक बॉडी है. ब्रह्मा जी अपीयर्स, हिज बॉडी के बारे में भी चर्चा किया. ऑल द लिविंग एंटिटीज एक्वायर द बॉडी. तो ये सारे difference है. What is the, if there is a difference, what is that exactly difference? That is all being asked here. ठीक है, अभी questions आ रहे हैं. As I said, there are more than 30 questions Parikshit Maharaj is asking here to Sukdev Goswami. So one after another in next few verses also we will see the questions by Parikshit Maharaj, and that is the title of this chapter. Answers future में आएगा, अभी सिर्फ question समझते हैं. The question is, Lord's body is different from the living entity's body. Brahma's body is different from Lord's body. And if there is a difference, what is the difference? That is the question being asked. चलो text number 9 पे जाएंगे, or sorry 10.
Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam, Cantos 2, Chapter 8, Text 10. Sachapi yatra purusho visvasthityu upta vapyaha muktavatma mayam mayesha shetis sarva guhashaya. Translation by Prabhupada ki jai. Please also explain the personality of Godhead, who lies in every heart as the super soul and as the Lord of all energies. but is untouched by his external energy.
Look, dear devotees, how nicely Parikshit Maharaj is asking. Yes, you, dear Sukdev Goswami, you mentioned about the Lord's gigantic body, and that Lord who glances at the material creation. We have seen that how he glances material creation. Lord glances, and then the three modes of material nature he impregnates, and then he impregnates the living entities also in that. So, but Bhagwan, when Lord is glancing on that material creation, that means he is different than the material creation. He is untouched by it. And see the last line of the translation, it says, Lord is untouched by his external energy. That's why Lord is able to glance. He is separate from this material creation. And Jo, that same Lord who has this gigantic body, the universe is coming out, that same Lord is in the heart of every living entity. In the heart of every living entity. Ant के हृदय में भी वही Lord है, the same Lord which has the universes coming out. Is it bewildering or not? You can see the same Lord who has this gigantic body where the universes come out, and the same Lord is in the heart of the all the living entities. Prabhupada writes in the previous purport also that elephant के हृदय में भी वही भगवान है, ant के हृदय में भी वही भगवान है. The universe is coming out, that is also from the same Lord. Skin pores are coming out. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking, please also explain that personality of Godhead. मुझे और बताओ, because he is untouched by this material creation, but he is in the heart of all the living entities as well. Bacteria, how tiny the bacteria is, how tiny the ant is, और उसके भी heart में, heart of the ant, how small is it? And the Lord resides in that heart, and that the same Supreme Lord who is so big. So that's why he is asking. We see in these inquiries, Parikshit Maharaj's mood to learn more and to inquire, to learn things in details. That is the Parikshit Maharaj's mood. He is asking further and further detailed questions. Dear devotees, practical learning point or lesson for us is spiritual life mein this genuine deep inquiry is the turning point in the life of a devotee. When a person is becoming more interested, more serious, and he's putting up an inquiry to understand the subject matter more, that changes the casual path of a devotee in the path of bhakti to the more serious step, progressing faster. तब होता है जब when a devotee wants to inquire things in details, he want to learn the deep knowledge what is mentioned in the Shastra. We see, it is said, reading Bhagavad Gita, studying Bhagavad Gita, hearing Bhagavad Gita has a benefit, but it's on a one level. But deep inquiry about Bhagavad Gita, that is the turning point for a devotee. Reading, हियरिंग कैजुअल कभी कभी भगवत गीता के बारे में सुन लिया, यूट्यूब में लेक्चर है, कोई महाराज आते हैं, वी अटेंडेड द लेक्चर एंड वी हर्ड, वी whenever we get a time we read Bhagavad Gita, we hear, we study, all these things are okay. But when a person starts inquiring deep questions and he wants to go deeper into the study of Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavad Gita and ask questions, then that brings a turning point in the life of a devotee. That devotee will make fast advancement. We see in the Bhagavad Gita as well, chapter number 4, 34th verse, Tadvidhi प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षान्ति ते ज्ञानम ज्ञानिनस्तत्वदर्शिनः तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया. He humbly and submissively asks questions to the Tattvadarshi, to Guru. He will go and ask questions. So when a person asks questions, he will advance. Analogy is given कि अगर किसी को जमीन में से पानी निकालना है तो वो यहाँ पे 1 feet, he will dig 1 feet, and then he will go somewhere else, he will dig 1 feet, he will go somewhere else, he will dig 1 feet. तो ऐसे पानी नहीं मिलेगा, इधर जाएगा उधर जाएगा, थोड़ा dig करेगा, इधर he will dig deeper, इधर he will go, he will not get water. But a person who will go deep at one place, he will go deep, digging, that person will get a water. In the same way, in the spiritual path also, when a person goes deeper into the specific subject matter, then a person gets the realization, a person gets the deep understanding of the topic, and that will bring the advancement in the life of a devotee. That's why in our Bhakti Vriksha, we discuss like Bhagavad Gita, 3.5 साल तक, verse by verse, line by line, we studied Bhagavad Gita. Deep study. Otherwise, any topic le lo, of course, there is a benefit. Yes, but advancement tab hoga jab we go deeper. Verse by verse, we studied Bhagavad Gita. Now, exactly what we are doing in Srimad Bhagavatam, line by line, translation also, word by word, aja. How Lord is untouched by material energy, how Lord lies in the heart of a living entity. Even line by line, word by word translation, we go deeper, because that brings the advancement in the life of a devotee. Now we have completed Bhagavad Gita in our Bhakti Vriksha. We are starting the prayers, six Sastakam prayers, Mangala Arti prayers, and all this Gaura Arti, Tulsi Arti, all these different prayers we are doing. And then again, word by word, we will go in deeper, because it's so easy to sing samsara dava nalali dhaloka pranaya karunya ghana ghana tum. हम सिंग तो करते हैं बहुत बार, चेतो दर्पण मार्जनम बहु महादावाग्नि निर्वापनम, but word by word, if you understand the meaning and if we go deeper, that brings the transformation of the heart. When we sing, when we understand the mood, when we understand that what bhava we are singing and what are we praying for exactly. So that's why from this inquiries of Parikshit Maharaj in this particular section, we understand to go deeper and to ask questions and in our studies of scriptures. Okay. All right, let's go on text number 11.
Hare Krishna. Text 11. Purushavayavairloka sapala purvakalpita lokairamusyavayavaha sapalairiti shushruma. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O learned Brahmana, it was formerly explained that all the planets of the universe, with their respective governors, are situated in the different parts of the gigantic body of the Virat Purusha. I have also heard that the different planetary systems are supposed to be in the gigantic body of the Virat Purusha. But what is their actual position? Will you please explain that? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So another question coming by Parikshit Maharaj here is, I have heard about different planetary systems. I have heard that all these upper planetary system, middle planetary system, lower planetary systems, all this Parikshit Maharaj heard, which we discussed in maybe chapter number 5 or chapter number 6, where the creation was mentioned. Then Parikshit Maharaj is asking here that I have heard about these different planetary systems, but what is their actual position? एक्चुअली ये planetary systems कैसे situated है वो हमें बताओ. Will you please explain that? So another question is asked by Parikshit Maharaj here. Let's go. Text 12 and 13 we can do together. This is more questions coming by Parikshit Maharaj here. 12 is Padma Mataji, 13 Radhika Mataji. I think Padma Mataji had an issue in unmuting. Radhika Mataji, आपको try करना है. Can you unmute Padma, or you can? Yeah, you can do Radhika Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Dhanvat pranam to all. Yavan kalpo vikalpo va yatha kalo anumiyate bhuta bhavya bhavat shabda ayurmanam cha yat satah. Also, please explain, translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Also, please explain the duration of time between creation and annihilation, and that of other subsidiary creations, as well as the nature of time, indicated by the sound of past, present, and future. Also, please explain the duration and measurement of life of the different living beings known as the demigods, the human beings, etc., in different planets of the universe.
So, more questions are asked by Parikshit Maharaj here. Explain the duration of time between creation and annihilation. Duration of time between creation and the annihilation, and that of subsidiary creation as well. Or questions they put there, please explain the duration and measurement of life of the different living entities. Duration of life of different living entities are very different. Or even in the demigods, we know how they live for much higher, longer, they have longer lifespan, thousands of years. That's why we see some stories or some pastimes that the sages are meditating for 1000 years, which is not practically possible for the humans in this world. Sometimes we see the fight between uh, Gajendra elephant and that crocodile. They went for 1000 years. Sometimes some sages meditated for 10,000 years. ऐसा आता है शास्त्रों में. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking that explain the duration and measurement of life of different living entities, different demigods, human beings, and different planets of the universe. 13.
Text 13. कालस्यानुगतिर्यातु लक्ष्यते अन्विबृहति अपि यावत्या कर्मगतयो यदृशिर्द्विजसत्तमः. O purest of the Brahmanas, please also explain the cause of the different durations of time, both short and long, as well as the beginning of time, following the course of action. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, so same is asking about the cause of the what is the cause of these different times, or the short and the long as well as beginning of the time. Please explain all this in detail. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking Sukdev Goswami. Let's go text number 14. Puja Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.8.14. Yasmin karma samavayo yatha yoge pagruhyate Gunanam guninam chaiva parinamama vipatsatam. Translation, Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Then again, kindly describe how the proportionate accumulation of reaction resulting from a different modes of material nature act upon the desiring living being, promoting or degrading him among the different species of life, beginning from the demigods down to the most insignificant creatures. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So, more detailed question Parikshit Maharaj is asking here, that describe how the proportionate accumulation of the reactions resulting from different modes of material nature act upon the desiring living being. So remember the context, dear devotees. हमने कैसे 6th chapter में the creation we discussed, जैसे different planetary systems, how the universes are coming out from the Lord's ports. Then we saw in the 7th chapter that how the discussion of creation, it led to the creator, that Lord not only creates but Lord enters this creation and performs various pastimes to reclaim the lost souls. So text from in 7th chapter, text number 1 to 39, we saw that all the different incarnations and appearances of the Lord. उसके बाद ब्रह्मा जी नारद जी को बताते हैं कि even if a scientist can count the number of atoms, he cannot understand completely glories of the Lord. But one can understand Lord only when one surrenders or by the mercy of the Lord. Then only one can understand. He says, I know about Lord. Lot of big list was given. They also know about the Lord. So one can know by mercy and surrender. And what does that surrender means? When one surrenders to the devotee of the Lord, one takes the shelter of a guru. And then he says, if one takes the shelter by the mercy of the Lord, a person can understand Lord. तो वो कैसे करेंगे? 3 steps: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan realization. Bhagwan realization में क्या आता है? That is a devotional service. We saw importance of devotional service in the end of the 7th chapter. Now 8th chapter में कैसे शुरुआत हुई कि Parikshit Maharaj is encouraging. Please tell me more. I want to hear more. Don't think that I am exhausted because of the fasting. I want to hear more, because he's telling the importance, encouraging, and asking the questions. And that's how all these questions are coming. He is asking after hearing the creation and about the creator, I want to know more. So this specific verse, Parikshit Maharaj is asking that a living entity, जो soul material world में है, living entity acts under the 3 modes: satogun, rajogun, and tamogun. Mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance में the living entity is acting, because the 3 modes of nature are there in this material world. But when a living entity is acting on these 3 modes of material nature, what will happen? The actions will have reactions. The actions will have reaction, and that accumulated. देखो यहाँ पे, if you see the first line of translation, how the proportionate accumulation of the reaction, accumulation of the, जो act करेगा वो एक्शन कैसे होगी, तीन गुणों के प्रभाव से होगी, and that action will have reaction, and that reaction will be accumulated, and when that reaction is accumulated, the living entity will get different species of life. It might be promoted or degraded. If you see the second line in the translation only, we're sticking to that. The living being promoting or degrading him among the different species of life, beginning from the demigods down to the most insignificant creatures. तो जब जीवात्मा ये तीन प्रकृति के तीन गुणों के प्रभाव से वो एक्ट करता है, उसका उस पर रिएक्शन होता है, और accumulated reaction he will get different bodies. So how this happens, how does this one person doing good activities and he will get this reactions? All this Parikshit Maharaj wants to understand more. He also is asking that how one does good activities and then become eligible to enter into the higher planetary system. जैसे demigods और higher planetary system में कोई कब जा सकेगा, जब उसने बहुत सारे अच्छे कर्म, pious activities, good credit का balance किया हो, तब वो जाएगा. So how does one perform good activities and become eligible to go to the higher planetary systems, and he can become demigod and he can stay there? How does it work? Prabhupada gives wonderful analogy in the purport. He just like a rich country. If you read the purport very beautifully, Prabhupada mentions that a rich country, for example, America, they will not let anyone and everyone to come into the country. Only people who are qualified, they can only enter. They have visa restrictions. In the same way, the living entity or a person, they want to go to the higher planetary system, there is visa restrictions. Only qualified people can go. So those people who have sufficient good karma, credit balance, they can only go to the higher planetary system. So all this, just like America, Prabhupada says, will not give visa to the poor countries. In the same way, the person who doesn't have good karma will not be able to reach the higher planet. So how does this action and reaction take place? What is the different procedures for that? What are the proportions? All this Maharaj Parikshit wants to hear. Let's read text 15 and then we will stop there. It's a small translation. Oh, 15 nahi hai. Okay. Then Anirvin Prabhu, you want to do it?
Oh, Hare Krishna Prabhu ji, Dandavad Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. भूत पाताल ककुव्योमा ग्रह नक्षत्र भूभृताम सरित समुद्र द्वीपानाम संभवस चैतदोकसाम. Translation by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. O best of the Brahmanas, please also describe how the creation of the globes throughout the universe, the four directions of the heaven, the sky, the planets, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, the seas, and the islands, as well as their different kinds of inhabitants, take place. Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking the inhabitants of the land. Prabhupada is also explaining that how the inhabitants of the land are different from the inhabitants of the water. जो जीव पानी में रहते हैं, जो जमीन पे रहते हैं, जो sky में रहते हैं, they are all different. Similarly, the inhabitants or the living entities staying in different planets and stars, they are also different. तो प्रभुपाद इज राइजिंग, एंड ऑल दिस इट्स नॉट बाय रैंडमली. ऐसे ही नहीं रैंडमली सब अलग अलग प्रकार के जीव, अलग अलग प्रकार के शरीर हो गए. देयर इज, इट इज नॉट ब्लाइंड अरेंजमेंट. देयर इज अ ग्रेट प्लान बिहाइंड दिस, of this all variegatedness of the universe. So Maharaj Parikshit is requesting to Sukdev Goswami to all this explain in details and very authoritatively. He is asking, I want to know how these different places, different inhabitants, different living entities are there in different places as well as different planetary systems. All right, we'll stop at 15. We'll start from 16 tomorrow. Thank you, dear devotees. Any comments or questions?
Prabhuji, I've got one question. ये परीक्षित महाराज तो क्वेश्चन पे क्वेश्चन पूछते जा रहे हैं. सुखदेव गोस्वामी को याद रखे एक आंसर कैसे दे? लाइक व्हेन वी आस्क क्वेश्चन इट्स कंसीडर्ड वेरी रूड ना. एक क्वेश्चन का जवाब दिया नहीं, दूसरा पूछ लिया, उसका भी जवाब नहीं दिया, तीसरा पूछ लिया, पूछे ही जा रहे हैं. लाइक आई एम वेरी बेविल्डर्ड विद दिस. एक क्वेश्चन का जवाब सुन के फिर दूसरा पूछेंगे, उसमें से एक निकलेगा.
कैसे है ये? Like previously also, like Parikshit Maharaj keeps asking lots of questions. Arjun तो एक ही क्वेश्चन पूछता है, like भगवत गीता में, he asks one question, then Lord answers. A bit different pattern, ना?
Yes, yes. I mean, I have made a note in my book. अभी आपने बोला तो मैं श्लोका खोल के देख रहा हूँ. And I have noted Parikshit Maharaj is asking several questions to Sukdev Goswami because first thing is he wanted to get more knowledge, and this knowledge is very useful for one's own self, as well as this knowledge will be useful for future in preaching as well, because not everyone will be understanding the Leela aspects, Tattva, and full detailed explanation is required. Now when Parikshit Maharaj is asking all these questions in the one as a group of questions, so that when Sukdev Goswami starts explaining, he can give the full context. एक पूछेंगे दूसरे पूछेंगे, it can go here and there and everywhere, and that's why you see एक एक क्वेश्चन है ना, कई कई क्वेश्चन थर्ड कैंटो में आएंगे, फिफ्थ में आएगा, सेवंथ में आएगा, 9th 11th 12th में भी आता है ऐसे. The very structured response is given by Sukdev Goswami rather than one by one, in a sequence. So all the questions, all the doubt, Parikshit Maharaj gave, and then very structured response Sukdev Goswami mentioned, and that is whole rest of the Bhagavatam as well. So that's why everything was asked together so that the response can be drafted according to the mood of the inquirer. ठीक है?
अभी आधे आधे नहीं छोड़ सकते ना, क्योंकि we have to know the answer to these questions. We have to read till the very, पता नहीं, और कैसे हमें ऑर्गेनाइज भी करना पड़ेगा कि कौन सा क्वेश्चन कब पूछा था, उसका आंसर कहाँ पे बताया है.
Yeah. Every single question का reference, I have a table. If you have Subodhini, exactly which canto, which verse, where Parikshit Maharaj gives which answer to which question of Parikshit Maharaj's question to answer Sukdev Goswami, पूरा table form में पूरा दिया गया है. If you want to research is good. If you want a ready-made, Subodhini में, भागवता Subodhini में है. ठीक है?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear devotees.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
शंकराचार्य श्रीमद् भागवतम की
Thank
जय,
you.
जगत गुरु
जय.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
जय.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
so
Hare
much,
Krishna,
Prabhuji. Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
everyone.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.